Hi guys, it's Blackie for Shaman's Forge Bushcraft. This is an attempt to remake a video that I just finished. I'm going to discuss a type of survival trick called building a fish trap, or weir is actually the proper name for it, along a stream or perhaps onto a lake or something. And I've used them several times. And I decided to share this with you, and so in a recent outing I'd found a stream that was suitable, and I set the camera up and I went through this whole spiel I'm about to talk about, showing me actually building it. I got home and got looking at the video, and it made absolutely no sense. All you see is some sticks sticking up out of the water. It don't make sense. So I'm going to use diagrams and verbal communication, and maybe you'll understand it better, because I think the actual me doing it, you need to be there. It's one of them hands-on. The camera can't see into the water and see what I'm doing other than just a stick sticking up. So, having said that, there is a skill of building a fish trap. Now, we're all familiar with the traps like you see. That's the basket-like thing, and you put it down in the water and it catches. Those work, but what I'm going to do is a more down and dirty primitive version of this, and it's called a fish trap or a weir. Now, first you need the right water. It needs to be a stream that has life, fish, crayfish, something you'd want to eat in it. It needs to be relatively shallow. You need to select a place where the two banks come together so that you're no more than a few feet apart, maybe 6, 7, 8 at the most. Too big and it's too hard to catch the fish, or rather to capture the fish once you've made it. So, I need a bank that is no more than at the maximum 10 feet wide. I'd prefer 6 feet wide. The depth of the water needs to be no more at my target area than like a foot deep, something like that. The deeper and the fish can get away from you too easy. Now what we're going to do is this. We've selected our place, and we're going to cut a bunch of sticks thumb sized. And we're going to take these sticks and all the way across. I'm going to go over this again in a diagram in a minute, so bear with me guys. All the way across the stream we're going to form a picket fence. Notice I did not say a dam. I mean a picket fence. I want water to pass through, but no edible fish. I'm making a barrier. I want my sticks to stick up above the water level at least 6 inches. That way as the water level rises and falls, I don't lose my fish easily. Okay? So I've cut this and I've made a wall all the way across the stream. Now putting my back up against my new picket fence I built, take one big step, boom, forward. That distance is important. Somewhere around 3 feet. From that wall on the downhill or uphill side, or both if you want to make a double. In the center of the stream, I want you to put your two thumbs together. Where your hands are, that's how wide I want you to put 2 stakes that are the size of your wrists. These are good sized saplings. And we're going to pound these into the bottom rock solid, because these are our goalposts. I want them, again, stick your 2 thumbs together, that wide apart, this space right in here between my fists. About 4 to 6 inches, no more. Now, I've got my picket fence, I've got my goalposts. Now taking other sticks, I'm going to make a gate that will just fit between my goalposts. Something that I can stand up, drop, or something, and I can pin in place, and it will not fall over. The water will not open it. It will stay there as a gate and close this opening. Okay? Go ahead and do it now, while you got plenty of room and the other walls ain't in place. When you make it and it works, and you can quickly and easily close it, and it'll stay closed, either by staking it or whatever, now you finish the trap. From the outside 2 edges of the goalpost, you're going to drive more stakes into a long V that goes to the bank out in front of you. What you've just created is a chute. As fish come up in here, they come through my goalpost and into my trap, something I can close. I know what you're saying, but Blackie, man, that'd be kind of slow, wouldn't it, waiting for fish to show up? Yeah, it is. Here's the other side of it. You go and cut you something green and leafy with a bushy top in it. Something you can strip the lower limbs, but you want a big ball of vegetation at the top, kind of like a mop head. Something flexible, something good that's not going to break easy. And now you're going to go downhill from your fish basket where that V is open to, as far as you want to go down the stream, and you're going to drive and herd all the fish and edibles into your trap. Now you're going to drive all of the fish and edibles into your trap. You heard me right. Now think of it kind of like this is a cattle chute. You go round up what's in the pasture and you herd them through this chute into the truck. That's the basic pretense. By taking this springy-headed bush, I've now got something that I can generate a lot of noise, disturbance, something that's going to make the fish react. So I'm going to get in the middle of the stream, go down as far as I want to be away from my trap, coming toward my trap, and I'm going to have a 2-year-old temper tantrum. I'm going to stomp, I'm going to slap, I'm going to kick, I'm going to raise as much hell as I can, trying to force those fish forward. I'm going to slap the water, I'm going to kick with my legs, I'm going to grab stuff and throw in the water ahead of me. Whatever to make as much racket as I can as I, step by step, progress toward my trap. Now when I come up to my trap, I'm going to reach up and I'm going to close that gate. Everything edible in that stream should now be sitting in my trap, because by my action I have herded it. And as I come along, obstacles along the bank, logs or something like that, I'm going to take special care to raise a lot of hell around it, splash, splash, try to herd things out behind it. I always think it's trying to go around you. Don't concentrate over here. It's always going to try to circle. Fish are always going to try to circle around you. So always play both banks in the middle, make as much racket, and drive it forward. Okay? I've gotten to my trap. I've closed my gate. Now my fish are inside of it. Now I generate a fishing spear. The fish will swim around quite happily, waiting for me to get hungry. Crayfish, turtles, eels, whatever. Now don't stick your hand down in that water when you first get up there. I know you're excited, I know you're tired, you put a lot of effort into it, and you want to reach down in that water and see if there's fish or something, because you can't see it because you're churned up so much. There are snapping turtles that'll take your thumb off better than a surgeon. Wait for the water to clear. If the water clears and there's nothing in that basket, don't waste your time. There's nothing worth eating in that stream. Move on. On the other hand, most of the edible fish are going to be in that stream. And if you built your weir correctly, or fish trap correctly, they're trapped. They'll swim around quite happily waiting for you to get hungry. Now if you've got a double one, now you go on the other way and drive them back from the other way into the other half. Or eat these fish for the next 2 or 3 days, and when you run out, open the gate, go downstream, and do it again, because more fish are moving upstream. Or do it from the other side and drive them in. You make a fish trap that can provide food almost continuously for a couple of weeks till you deplete the stream. Didn't think of that, did you? So now, once I get my trap full of fish, I can go back to camp, I can do what I want. Food will swim around quite happily. As long as I don't have a rain that raises the elevation to the point my fish can get out, live food doesn't spoil. So, now, to recap, and do this in a better way, I've got some diagrams posted up over here on the wall. I'm going to reposition the camera, and we're going to go over it with that, so that I can reiterate and visually you can see what I'm talking about. Stay with me, guys. I'll be right back. Okay, guys, here's the diagram. Now, I'm not a great artist, so just bear with me, okay? Here's our bank. Here's our stream. Here are the banks of the stream. Now, here's the flow of the water. What I've done is I've come here at my narrow, picked out spot where the depth is shallow, about a foot. Banks are close together. I'm now going to drive stakes, thumb size or something about like that, all the way across and make my picket fence right here. This will allow water to pass through, but it will not allow edible fish. Now make sure up here on the bank, if you got a high bank or something right there, drive stakes real tight to that side. Don't let them wiggle around between the edge. If it's a low bank like a shore, go an inch or two up on the bank so they can't hook around that corner. Okay? Now one big step from the center of the wall is my 2 goal posts. Remember, they're wrist size, and I'm going to drive them solid into the bottom. This is where my gate is going to be for my trap. Now, angling from my goalpost to the bank will be my next wall, and from the other goalpost to the other bank is my other wall, like that. This is formed like a cattle chute coming into the trap. Now the distance between the goalpost and the back wall is kind of important. It needs to be about 3 feet. If it's too close, the fish will see it and turn around. They want to come in and think they're going behind a log or something. So give them plenty of room. Your gate is going to go between the two goalposts. This is what's going to seal the trap. So that I start up here and I start kicking and raising all kinds of sand, working my way this way until I get into my V and I shut my gate. Drop it in place, peg it, whatever I got to do. Right there. Now, my fish are swimming around quite happily in here. They're going to do their bit of swimming around and surviving while I'm getting hungry. To get them out of here, I'll come up with a fishing spear, harpoon them, bring them out. Or, barring that, I'll take a couple of shirts, if they're real small fish, I'll take a couple of sticks, stick my shirt into it, make like a net, like a seine, and stick in there and kind of wiggle and push them up onto the bank where I can catch them. In any case, you'll be easy to catch them. You've heard the term fish in a barrel? Fish in a barrel. Now, suppose you don't have a stream, but you do have a body of water, like a river or a lake or something like that, and you still want to try this, but it's way too big across to do this. That's where we do the second one. Hang on. Okay, now, here's my bank. This is my body of water up here. Off of the bank, there's 2 ways you can do this. Taking thumb-sized sticks, you're going to make a solid wall going out several feet. The depth here of the water is the same. We want it about anywhere from 6-8 inches to a foot deep. Not too deep, or the fish will be able to roll around too easy. We want it to be kind of trapped. So, about, 6-8 to a foot maximum. Now, we put the first wall in. Excuse me. And now we're going to put the second wall in, which is going to be a long wall back here at the back. Now, if you've got a log, or you can cut, trees and lay them out here, this works too. But you want a long barrier up here that the fish can't go through. Reason for that is this. As the fish are coming along the bank, this edge of this wall must protrude several feet beyond the edge of your trap. Now this is a snail weir. That means the fish are funneled up into here. They turn the corner and they come up into this part. Here's your trap. It's a snail because it's like a snail shell that turns them and puts them into this area. You can also put things like bait, stuff like that. If you do catch a fish, you gut it, you put the guts back in here. Wrap it around a stick, stake it to the bottom. It'll attract fish and they'll work their way around this maze to this. The other way to do it is a slant. It's a much narrower one, and if the water's a little deeper than you like, you can do it this way. You have your base wall, you have your long runner, and then you're going to come like a foot from that base wall, and you're going to build a second wall, stopping about 8 inches from that top wall. And then you're going to make an angled barrier that way. Now what's going to happen is, as the fish comes this way, he's going to come up and he's going to be brought in here. He's going to make that one turn. He's going to come down in here. This works with a little bit deeper water. Your gate goes here and your gate goes here. Now this doesn't have to be made exclusively like this. It can work from one side or the other. Usually if it's a river, you want the water flow, you want the snail type, so that the fish comes in here and gets caught in here. He comes along patrol following the current and he gets looped into here. Your gate that you make will fit right here. In fact, what I like to do with this one is I go ahead and lay my gate right here on top, so I can just stand it up right quick and plug that hole, because when the fish sees you, they want to run. So I want them to feel safe in there up until I slam that gate. Same thing with the snail. I put my gate where I can come in this way and suddenly block off that way. This is called a weir. Weir. And basically it's a fish trap. Now this one you don't drive the fish into. My first one, I drive everything there. Screw that being sportsmanlike, I'm hungry. This is one that can produce food for you along a shoreline, because I can make several of these and then bait these areas. And you'll learn from trial and error with your fish how wide to leave this opening down here at the bottom. You don't, remember this bank's right here, you don't want it to get too shallow. You don't want to come under 6 inches so that the fish can comfortably, the fish ain't going to come out of water to go into your trap. So you want it at least 6 inches deep at any of these crossing points right here. So, to recap, flowing body of water or a lake, you build a base wall, then you build your long wall, then you build a short wall, short wall, short wall. So it forms a snail-like circle. So as the fish comes in, these two, acting like cattle chutes, guide the fish down and into your trap. The other type is the snail type for slightly deeper, not snail type, but the deeper water slot. Wide mouth, they come up and they hook in. These work good if the current is flowing this way, because the fish are patrolling with it and they're going along, they kind of get pushed in there. Quick and easy way. Your fish are going to end up being in here. Like that. You'll also catch crayfish, things like that this way. Well guys, I hope this gives you an idea. I'm sorry for the other one not being like I wanted. I thought about this a long time and decided to do this for you. And I had gone out there and I'd built the stream one for you. Set the camera up, but I'll be honest with you, when I looked at it, it didn't make sense even to me, and I knew what I was talking about. It was because all I could see was sticks sticking up out of the water. This camera cannot see into the water, so you can't look down and see the whole structure and see what I'm doing. When I teach people in person, you can see it, and it makes sense. But it's a good way to catch fish when you don't want to put a lot of effort, you don't have any fishing gear. You can simply build one of these up in an hour, hour and a half or less usually, and it's sitting there working for you. The weirs are working all the time by themselves. I can just put baited sticks inside of these areas and catch turtles or whatever simply by walking up to it quickly and plugging the gate and seeing what's in there. If nothing there, walk away. 2 hours from now, it might. I've caught catfish a lot in the snail type, especially if I baited it, because they would smell it and come into it trying to find it. Cats are very inquisitive, and they're over, to my knowledge, over 600 species of catfish in there in almost every waters of the world. You're probably near a catfish right now. Well guys, I hope this gives you some ideas. I'm Blackie for Shaman's Forge Bushcraft, wishing you safe journeys. Have a great day guys.